Education is definitely a key component on attracting young professionals and new families to the area. And we know that the gap between Black and brown children and white children continues to expand. What can you do as a council member to address education in District 6 and actually improve the outcomes of education, particularly elementary, middle, and high school?
Yeah, so this has been the theme of what I've been responding to, right? And that's because education is so key, and it's part of the overall economic ecosystem that we want to create in the county. So let me add on points that I have not already mentioned. So as a product of the public school system, I was an English as a second language learner. I am who I am today because of the public school system. Grew up in an immigrant household. Parents went through bankruptcy, lost their home. And today I'm an attorney, and I was elected at the age of 25. And that is, to me, that is the American dream. And I feel privileged. And I want to continue that for all of our kids, or kids of color, or kids that have been falling behind, because perhaps, they're coming to school without breakfast, or, for whatever reason, mom, dad aren't doing well at home. So be it mental health issues or poverty. These are real issues. So I want to address the issue around mental health. I think that the pandemic has brought to light what we already knew to be true. And that is, just folks of color always end up being disproportionately affected by whatever crisis is happening. And so, for a healthy transition for a student back into school so they can perform well, mental health is going to be a huge part of that. And so, as I mentioned, the blueprint, which is our, Maryland's reform in our education, there is also a calling for increased counselors in our schools. So we're looking at, depending on the area and the county, we're looking at one psychologist per 500 to 1,000 students, depending on the school. And that psychologist is not a counselor. That psychologist is there purely for testing. So again, it's a disservice to our students, and we are putting an incredible amount of pressure and a burden on our teachers to, in addition to being educators, they are also expected to deal with or not know how to deal with some of the mental health issues that are going on at home, especially, because kids have not been learning in the same environment. Their social skills are lacking, anxiety levels, et cetera, all of the things. In addition to that, something that folks don't realize is that Montgomery County is second to the city of Houston when it comes to receiving the highest number of unaccompanied minors. So as an immigration attorney, and I sit also on the Board of Trustees of Montgomery College, and it's connected, and I'll tell you why. We have a responsibility to welcome these children and understand that they're enrolling in our schools, they're being reunified with families that they haven't seen for 10, 13 years. So there is trauma. So our society, our families are living with trauma. Parents don't understand what their children need. Then these kids are going to school, and then they, because their emotional needs aren't being met at home, then they fall victim to just being recruited by just the wrong people. And so one of the things that I always bring up as a trustee in Montgomery College is that, we're seeing that a lot of our kids, they're not adapting quickly enough during MCPS, be it because of the mental health issues, be it because of language barrier. There aren't enough years in their academic experience to learn English and to be prepared for college. So community college is an absolute excellent option, especially Montgomery College is just an excellent institution anyway. But there is an opportunity. And again, we work as an ecosystem. We don't work as in siloed areas. So people are paying their tax dollars. Those tax dollars are paying for an institution like Montgomery College. But at the same time, we're also paying for schools that are failing a lot of our Black and brown kids. So we need to look at, okay, how can we better use our own tax dollars and get return for our investment. Let's really look at what our kids need right now. Our educators are overwhelmed. We're expecting them to do too many things in the classroom. So let's get them the resources that they need. We need more language acquisition specialists. When you talk to educators that are teaching ESOL, they don't have necessarily the training to teach ESOL. And these are educators themselves that will tell you that. So they feel already overwhelmed with that. And they don't have extra staff for reading, reading specialists, or if there's a speech impediment, we don't have enough speech impediment specialists. And then also the issue with the counselors. So this is something that's very important to me. And as a council member, while I'm not a Board of Ed member, but I can use my influence, right? Because at the end of the day, we do have to vote on a budget, and we want to make sure that we're speaking with the superintendent, that we're speaking with the Board of Ed, and that the budget that we're funding reflects the needs of our constituents. Thank you for that question.